Alright, so like I said, you need to choose which one you want to do. I'm going to go right here again, week 23. Alright, favorite song or album covers. Now listen, say you want to do the favorite song. There's the template you use. You click on it. This is if you want to do the favorite song. Click on it. It says download file. Click on download file, and then you click on it like this. Pops up. It's already blank for you, ready to go. The first thing you do is figure out what song you want to do. You need to find your song. What you should do is probably download the lyrics, put them on a Microsoft Word document, and save it in the folder. You guys can see right here, I made a folder on my desktop called Favorite Song. And then what I did was, my Microsoft Word's opening right now. Conversely, there's an album cover. Now listen, if you do the album cover, which I will get to here shortly, you have back and a front to do. You have two things to turn in. Now it's not as in-depth as the favorite song, but you still got two things to do. I would say they're about the same as far as which one's harder to do. So here's the song. What you're gonna do is, once you download the lyrics, these aren't all the lyrics. You're going to scan them for like visuals that you can use. Like the first thing you need to do is figure out what's gonna be your background. So if I scan this, I see jungle pop up numerous times. So I looked up a jungle, and you can see I saved it in this folder. You guys see it? I saved a picture in my folder. That's going to be my background. Now as I scan it some more, okay, cold, maybe I'd put something cold in there. Warm, eyes, maybe I could put some eyes in there. I didn't really download those. I did download King of the Jungle is a lion. I did download a dog. When you think of death, you think of the Grim Reaper. So those are just a couple that I downloaded, and you can see it right here. Here's my little dog, lion. I have a couple little dogs, plus I have the musical artist right here. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 layers that I will use. And you can see I downloaded a texture layer. You guys see that? Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, after you download all these, I don't know which one I'm going to use. So first I'm going to open up my background. So file, open, go to the desktop, find your favorite song. I'm going to open this up. Now, just in case you forget like what happened to my favorite song template, it's still there. You gotta use a move tool. Drag this down, move it in. I don't need this anymore. Obviously, what should I do for this to make it edit free transform? That's right. And then hopefully it's still in proportion. I think it will be. It's close enough. Enter to get rid of that. Alright. Now I need my artist, my musical artist, and you can see I'll go to File, Open. I already cut them out here, but in case you forget how to cut them out, here's how you do it. I'm going to open up this one. Okay, he's right there. View, fit on screen. I love view fit on screen because it lets me see the whole picture. Now what I need to do is I need to trace around him. And basically I don't need any of this other stuff. So in case you guys forget, because we've done this before, it's a Polygon Lasso tool. This is absolutely my favorite tool to use in Photoshop. And then obviously I want you guys to use the zoom tool too, because you have to zoom in on it like this close. It's kind of pixelated, but that's the best picture I could get. So here's how you use it. Polygon Lasso tool. Click. You see it sets a little anchor point. Click. So you just click around them like this. Now, since I'm zoomed in, it's kind of hard to go around his whole body. So I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but if you hold down the space bar, you guys see the hand that pops up? and then you can click and drag and move it a little bit, and then once I let go of the space bar, it pops up back to the Polygon Lasso tool. So I'll click around that. Ta-da. Now, like I said, I think it works best if you can get a musical artist where you can see most of their body. Now, if you're not doing the favorite song project, just disregard this, but it is kind of good knowledge to have. Shh. I don't even know where I am right now. This picture's really bad. This is also how you make a PNG, by the way, in case you ever want to make a PNG. I'm going to select the rock as well. Whoops. I'm not doing this to the best of my ability. I just want you guys to know that right now. I'm usually much better at this, but I'm trying to do this pretty quickly. I'm not even going to bother about the tuning, whatever those are called. Alright, so I get around to where I was to beginning with. Double click, and that completes the selection. You can see the marching ants, and I'm going to go to view, fit on screen so I can see it all. Here's how you make it a PNG in case you ever want to make PNGs for people. I'm going to turn off the lock right here. Turn off the lock. Now if I hit backspace, I basically erase him. I do not want to do that. But if I go to select, inverse, switches the selection. If I hit backspace, there he is. Select, deselect, and I don't know. He kind of has a hard edge. You guys see that? Really hard edge. I'm going to teach you some upper level Photoshop right here. I'm going to use the magic wand tool. I'm going to select this empty space. You guys see that? In case you forget, you can always watch this video that I will eventually post. Select, modify, feather, and it's going to pop up as this feather selection. I'd say about two or three. Now nothing really happened yet. I want to zoom in. I want you guys to see this so you can see what happens when I got to do this again because I just zoomed in. Select, modify, feather. I'll do two. Now if I hit backspace, you guys see how it kind of faded it out a little bit? You guys see that? Makes it look a little bit more real. That's how I really got good at Photoshop. I just learned all these little steps. Alright, so now if you want to save this as a PNG, here's what you do. File, save as. See where it says Photoshop right here? Change that to PNG, hit save, and this box is going to pop up right here. You just hit OK. So next time I open it, no, file, open, I forget which one it is. I think it's this one. He's right there, and he's ready to move in. Look, beep, there he is. Screen. So I need to make him bigger. Edit free transform. Hold down the shift key if you want it to stay in proportion. Put him like right here. Now, it doesn't look like the lighting is similar, correct? Now, like I said, I'm going to be destroying you with knowledge today. So in case you forget this, watch the video. But if you want to have the lighting match up a little bit better, there's many ways to do this. The way I like is image adjustments, either exposure or vibrance. I'm going to try exposure first. And what happens is this box pops up right here. And then you can mess with this a little bit, or this. little darker, or this. You guys see how it, ooh, that looks pretty good. Now what the other one does, image adjustments, vibrance, it fits this vibrance. If you see, if I jam it all the way up, you guys see how it got really yellow? If I take it all the way down, it's like black and white. So that's what that does. So if say it's kind of not saturated, just turn it up a little bit, and this is the same thing, black and white color to the extreme. So you can get it, you can mess with these. They just added these in the last couple of Photoshops. This wasn't in the Photoshop when I started learning Photoshop, so it's something I've had to learn myself. All right, so you got him right there. All right, so now I'm going to open up some of the other stuff that I saw, and one of them is going to be texture. I'm going to open up the texture. Now you might say, why are you adding a texture layer? I don't know, I like to mess around with textures. So I'm going to move this underneath him, edit, transform, maybe put it like right there. Now if you see the requirements, and I'm going to show them to you here, favorite song. So you need to have 8 total layers. Must use 1 instance of using blending mode / layer styles. We did that with the last project, if you remember. And in case you forget, here's what it is. This layer right here is on top of this layer. So what I do is I'm going to go up to normal on this layer, change this to dissolve, and then if I hit the down arrow key on my keyboard, you can see it kind of interacts with the one underneath. Hopefully I can find one that I kind of like. I kind of like this one. Looks like it's raining. But you see that hard edge right there? I don't like that hard edge. You guys see that? So I'm going to zoom out. The cool thing about this is I'm going to turn off this layer. Get an eraser and make it really, really big and really, really soft. So my size is, you guys see how big my brush is, right? It's pretty big, maybe a little bit bigger. No, it's too big. Hardness is at 0. I'm just gonna skate along the edge of that so it kind of blends in. And now when I turn this on, you can't really see where it ends. And if you want, like say you don't want it right here, you can erase that part and just leave it on certain parts. Does that make sense? Alright, so I'll leave that. Maybe turn the opacity down just a little bit. It is a little strong because I still want to see the branches underneath. So I got the requirement out of the way with the blending modes. Must use shadows and or reflections. I'm going to do that with my next thing. I mean, I could go to this layer. Look, I'm on this layer. He's sitting right here. Obviously it's going to be darker right here. So I'm going to get my burn tool, and if you ever use a burn tool, make sure it's at 0% hardness. That's really the key. And make sure your brush is big enough so you don't see the edges. So you can see how big I'm making this burn tool, and then I'm just very, ooh, wow, that's turned up a lot. You can turn down the burn tool exposure right here where it says 60%. So I'm going to go like down to 20. It's up to you. You guys experiment with what you want. I just thought that was too dark, too fast. So now it looks like he's actually sitting there. Now I'm going to open up one of the lions. If I want this lion, I'm going to have to do the cutting out again. You guys remember that, right? Cut around it, blah, blah, blah. That's why if you want, look up PNGs on the internet. So if I looked up lion, you guys know I love lions, so that's why I always do lions. I'm just obsessed with lions. Lion, PNG, and make sure it has what? When you save it, should have this kind of background. Gray and white checkerboard background. Is it ringing a bell now? And then you save it. Save image as. That way you don't have to cut it out like I just did with the last thing. Now, chances are, if you're doing your musical artist, you're going to have to cut them out. There's not going to probably be a PNG of them already cut out. All right, so look, I already found one that was cut out. File, open. It was this one, I think. So I got to open it. There he is. I'm just going to move him in. You fit on screen. He's got to go over here. I'm going to put him on top of this rock. Now, if you notice, now he's underneath this texture layer, so I got to drag him up to the top. Do you guys think I should mess with his lighting too? Anybody? I'm going to say yes. So, in case you forget, image adjustments, because I want to adjust his lighting. Go to exposure. Maybe turn this down just a hair. Maybe turn that down just a little bit. There we go. Let me zoom in on that, see what that looks like. So, you can see, probably need a little shadow right here, right? What layer do I need to be on to do this? To do the burn tool. Yes, that's right, David. Layer 2. So layer 2, get the burn tool. Let me make this a little smaller. I'm going to do it just a little bit right here. Now he looks like he's there. View, fit on screen. Now you can see he's sitting on top of a rock, so he kind of needs to have a reflection right there. Here's how you do reflections. In case you forget, I did show you last project, but maybe you guys didn't watch the video. So I'm on my lion layer. I'm going to duplicate it. It's going to pop up like this. Hit OK. I'm going to choose the bottom one, the original one. Go to Edit, Retransform. Drag this down. Put it like right about, I don't know, right thing right about there. Yeah. All right, so he's right there. Now I'm going to turn down the opacity. So it looks like a reflection. I just got to figure out. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Now there's something else you can do that is also a requirement, and it's something I haven't taught you yet, but I want you to experiment with it. It's called must use at least one filter. Shh. You guys seen this? Filters. You got to use a filter. And by the way, all these requirements are up on Schoology, so I'm not going to post them, but hopefully you guys check it before you submit your work. So I'm going to go back to this. Now, you guys have probably chosen each one of these except filter, correct? So this is what a filter is, and there's all these to choose from. One that I really like is blur. To choose one of these, my personal favorite is Gaussian blur. So I'm on the lion. It's going to pop up like this. You really can't see the lion, right? I don't even know where he is. I got to zoom out to see where he is. All right, there he is. So zoom back in. All right, so this is what it looks like regular. But see how I turn it up a little bit? It gets blurry. Actually, the reflection should be blurry since it's in the water, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit. Hit OK. Now you can't really see, you know, you can tell it got a little blurry, but since the opacity is down, it still looks pretty good. You'd be surprised how accurate you can make stuff look and how you can fool people. Like, people think that's really there. So I did that. I had other filters you can do. I don't know. Some people like to do this one. Now, you have to make sure you know what layer you're on, because whatever layer you're on, that's what the filter interacts with. So I'm on layer 2. A lot of people like to do this one. Filter, render, lens flare. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing it to you. What's going to pop up is going to be this thing right here. And then you can move that. You see the lens flare? You guys see that? You can make it super bright or make it like a little pinprick. This is how people do galaxies sometimes, and you can even change the type of lens flare for different cameras. Like that's movie prime. So say you wanted a bright light in the top right of your trees, you could do that. So like, and you can see the little lens flares that pop up right there. So you guys see the lens flare that popped up? That's a pretty cool effect, but you have to make sure you know what layer you're on when you do that. Usually you want to be on the background layer if you're going to do a lens flare, but there's all kinds of different layers to do. So say I'm on the Singer filter. This is the one you want to do if you want to check out all the filters besides these. Filter gallery, and I know I'm hitting you with a ton of information. That's why I'm making this video. So the filter gallery is going to look like this. So you can make somebody look like they were colored in with colored pencils. It always depends on what colors are right here. I can't see it on the toolbar, dang it. Yeah, see how it's white and black right there? Whatever colors are there usually sometimes dictates what the filter does. So filter gallery, and this is colored pencil, cutout. Makes it look like, you guys see that? You can mess with these levels. That looks horrible. Dry brush. A lot of people like to do, where's it at? Plastic wrap. It looks like it was wrapped in plastic. You guys see that? I'm not saying you have to do, plastic wrap. I'm just saying a lot of people like to do this one to make stuff look like it was wrapped in plastic. So anyways, I already did my filter, so I have that taken care of. And in case, when I grade these, trust me, I have a discerning eye. I can tell what filter you use sometimes. All right, so I did, whoops. I'm working on the 8 total layers. I already did the blending mode with the texture. I did a shadow and a reflection. I used a filter. Now I need to use, and I did include the Singer band somewhere in the composition, so I have all those. I just need 3 visual cues from the song's lyrics. So I'm going back here, File, Open. I'm going to use these tree roots right here. I don't even know why I want to use these tree roots, but I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. Oh, I just lost it. I don't need that. It's right here. Move that down. Edit through transform. I'm going to put it underneath one of these trees behind him. In the original one that I did, I forget where I put it, but I did put it somewhere. I'm trying to remake this from my memory. Yeah, right there. And then I'll go underneath him. Hit the eraser. Kind of erase that right there. It's right there. And then I'll do another layer style. Oop, there we go. You guys see that? Blends pretty well. It's pointless though because you can't really see it, so I'll just move right over there. Just trust me, it's there. Alright, so I did that. That's another layer. File, open. I'll do the little doggy. I'll do this one. He's already cut out. That's brilliant. Move that in. Don't need that. Don't need that. Put him right here. Maybe make him a little bigger. Right. Mess around with his adjustments, image adjustments, exposure. That's good. And then I'll go to this layer, layer 2, to do the burn tool. I'm doing this really fast, trust me. It takes me about 30 minutes to do this project. It'll take you guys a couple days, hopefully. File, open. Oh yeah, I did add a tree. Yeah, it went right there, now that I remember. Put that in. Now this would be a nightmare to cut out, but the great thing about blending modes and layer styles is that I do a lot of, look, this erasing is not the best erase job. You guys see that? I'm just erasing around the edge. Make that bigger so you guys can see it better. I just want to see the branches. Now look, if I go to normal, dissolve, and cycle through, one of them actually gets rid of the white. Oh, there you go. There's a couple of them to get rid of the white. You guys see that? So you don't have to sit there and trace it all or do all that crap. So I have that done with my roots right there behind them. File open. Now I'm going to add I'm not going to even add that. I've already met the lyrics, and besides I'm running out of time. But you can see I have way more than 8 layers. You can also, I need you to type in your signature. So I'm going to type in my signature. That's going to be one of the last things you do. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it a watermark if you want. It doesn't have to be. And in case you forget how to do a watermark, I'm just going to go to blending options. You just turn on stroke, drop shadow, and bevel and emboss. Hit OK. Turn down the fill. Oh, that doesn't look, that looks horrible, but anyways, it's right over there. File, save as, save it as your favorite song as a JPEG. And something else you can do, in case you need layers, you can type in some of your lyrics. So I'm going to choose a different font right here. Click right there. You guys can't see that. Edit free transform. Says that's the I will not die born. I don't know what that means. Maybe I can do some blending options on this, make it stand out a little bit. Maybe change the color. You know, put it right there. That counts as a layer. That's an easy thing to do. Just don't put any curse words, please. Actually, that's too big. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Can't really read it, so I'll put it over here. So that is the favorite song project. File, save as, save it as a JPEG. And that's the one you submit in Schoology. Now, if you're doing the other two, you need to watch. You go to album cover. So I'm going to go back here to Schoology. This one is not as intense as the other one, but you do have to do 2. So, go back. Album covers. You can see there's a front cover template and a back cover template. So I'm going to click on the front cover, download, open it up. This one won't take long at all. I don't need this anymore. Yeah, I might as well save it. Alright, so here's the front cover. You can see it's blank. It's totally blank. Now, in your mind, you have to be thinking about what you want to put on it. And I would say a good tip is to look up famous album covers to get an idea of what they look like. Or, you know, maybe you want to try to emulate one. Obviously, don't, you know, borrow or rip someone's off. I don't know. So you can see, like, Nirvana's is iconic. The Abbey Road, Beatles, Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Michael Jackson. These are all very iconic album covers. I'm going to do my own, so if you look here on the front, I'm going to use just these 4 logos right here. That's me. That's my background. That's my logo. That's my texture. And by the way, here's how you do a logo. First, I'm going to open these up so you can see what it looks like. File, open up my background first. Where's it at? Desktop. gonna use the move tool. Move it in. View. Zoom out. Edit free transform. Whoops. Alright, so that's my album cover background. Now I need to add me in there. So there's me about 10 years ago. Move that in. Put myself right there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do a layer style blending mode on me so I blend into the background better. I think there's one that gets rid of the black. There it is. There he is. There he is, Ghost Man. Put myself right there. File, open. I'm gonna do a texture too. I love using textures as layer styles because they just seem to not overpower everything. So I'll put that like right halfway through. And then do the same thing right here. And then maybe I get my eraser and erase that bottom edge right there. So maybe turn down the opacity just a little bit so it looks smoky. And then I open up my logo that I made. There it is right there, Collaborator. Move that in. Edit, free transform. I will show you how I made that. Now here's something cool I haven't shown you. I just discovered this year. Now notice I'm in edit, free transform, right? You guys see that? See this thing right here up on the options bar? If I click on that, you'll notice over here where it says custom, you can do all of these. I never knew that existed until this year. So say I do arc, it puts in an arc, and then you can see how you just drag it down. So maybe you want it curved a little bit. You guys see that? I just think that's really cool. So I get it where I like it. Hit enter. Maybe I need to type in. Why isn't it? There we go. Type in your album cover name. What should be my album name? Oh wait, greatest hits. I can't spell. Greatest hit. I'm not looking, sorry. Greatest hits. Edit. Transform. Maybe I'll hold down Control, italicize it a little bit. I think not enough people use blending options. See how you can't really read it over here? A true Photoshop person always uses blending options to make it pop. You guys see that? Look at that. Looks legit right there. Turn that down a little bit. Whoops. What happened? What did I do? Oh, I changed that to, there we go. Alright. So look, I'm done with my front cover. So file, save as, JPEG. Change that to JPEG. Hit save. Now here I'm going to show you how to do the logo before we quit. You guys gotta learn this site. The site is the best. Defont.com. I love Defont.com. Click on themes. And look. I'm just gonna choose one. Doesn't matter which one. Type your text right there. Change this to 100. Hit submit. And you can see what it looks like. Now, unfortunately, Butler Tech has... We used to be able to download the fonts and you could just type it in, but we can't do that anymore because of the stupid web marshal. So instead, you know, you got to find one you like. So say you don't like anyone in here, maybe go to old school. You can see what these look like. Medieval, if you like the old English. My favorite is modern. That's where I got this one. So say I like this one right here. Alright, here's what you do. Everybody look at their keyboard. I think print screen is near your space bar, correct? It's PRT. You guys see that? Alright, if you hit that once, it basically prints this screen. So I'm going to go back to Photoshop, go to File, New. File, New. File, New. It's taking forever, sorry. Alright, it's going to pop this up. Just hit Create. Just hit Create. And then Edit. Hit Edit, Paste. And you'll see the screen that you just, printed out. Now listen, you just need this part right here. So this tool right here, we've used it before, the rectangular marquee tool. I'm just going to select around that. Nuts, it's on a fixed ratio. I'm just going to select around that. Oh, I didn't select around it good. Go to Image, Crop. Gets rid of everything. So View, Fit on Screen. And then you can get rid of the white. Just click on the white. Select, Similar. Hit Backspace. Select, Deselect. You really don't need the background anymore, so I'm going to delete that too. You see? Now look, it's already a PNG for you. And this is how you do blending options to make it colorized. Bing, bang, boom. You guys see that? Then you just move that in. That's how you make a logo. You guys see that? That's pretty easy, right? Hopefully you guys remember that. In case you don't, it'll be on the video. Now the back, let me show you the back really quick. The back is really, really easy too. Hopefully the announcements don't come on until later. Here's the back cover. If I open up the back cover, you'll notice, oh, Mr. Claver, you're so nice. You put all the stuff right there. All you got to do is, you can change this font, by the way. It's right, is it this one? Yeah. Look, I'm just going to highlight it. You don't have to change the font unless you like it. Change that, and you can change the font, like, right there. You guys see that? So you change the font right there. You don't have to keep all this stuff if you don't want to. In fact, you should only keep really one of these logos. I just put 4 different album or record labels, and it's the same kind of thing. Look, I opened up my back. I'm just doing 2 things. So I have my gradient right here and this picture right here. I'm just going to add those in. The back's really easy because I basically did all the work for you. All you got to do is come up with your background, or if you want to add other stuff, there's even a UPC code. You guys see that? And then I'm going to add this one in just because I like to make it original. Go up here to where it says normal, dissolve, do all that stuff. Now you'll notice you might have to change your track listings. Now look, you guys see these are on top of these, so I'm gonna have to drag these all the way down to the bottom. You guys see that? And then probably have to change the color so you can see. You guys see it? You see what I'm talking about? You might have to go to the runner and change that as well, color overlay, so you can see it. It's just messing around with blending options. I cannot stress that enough. Don't forget about blending options.